how's it going? Welcome to my channel, Jessica in Progress. My name is Jessica, and today we're going to be going over the Creature collection that dropped on Amazon Prime Kindle. Oh my god, I can't say that all in one breath. Today we're going to be going over the Creature collection that dropped on Amazon Prime's Kindle Unlimited. Now this is a series of short stories that are done by some major horror authors. Now I haven't read all of them. I think I've really only read Grady, Hendrix, and Tremblay, but I'm excited to see the rest of them. Anyway, this is 6 short stories, again, done by different horror authors. We have The Pram by Joe Hill, Ankel Snatcher by Grady Hendrix, It Waits in the Woods by Josh Malerman, In Bloom by Tremblay, Best of Luck by Jason Mott, and Big Bad by Chandler Baker. Now I think these are supposed to be like retellings of stories that are like classics or something like that. So it's like the urban legends or something retelling. I don't really know. I haven't looked super into it. I'm just gonna read like one a day on this week leading up to Halloween. Probably during my lunch if I don't get to it. Maybe it'll be my little bedtime read. Just to like get me hype and keep me going. Now again, these are short stories. So I got the page numbers right here. The shortest story is 29 pages long, and the longest story is 59 pages long. With all 6 of them combined, that's a total of 262 pages for these short stories. I'm super excited to get into them and read them. Before we start though, I do want to say that if you are planning on reading all of these, each story comes separately for the Kindle Unlimited. So if you're like me and you like download a bunch of Kindle Unlimiteds, filling up your library with things that you haven't read yet, you are gonna have to do some library management because these are 6 separate stories in their little algorithm thing instead of like one book that you could just flip through, which is a little annoying. But other than that, I'm gonna start reading. So we're gonna start, and I'm gonna read them all in order that I just read them to you. So we're gonna start with The Pram by Joe Hill, and that one is 58 pages long. So I'll see you then. Hi, how are you? You know that intro? Filmed that like a week ago. I am still battling a cold. Last week didn't turn out at all what I wanted it to because, you know, how I said I was gonna read one creature collection a day or one short story of the creature collection a day during lunch. Well, the Monday we ended up going to the grocery store for lunch instead. The Tuesday I ended up taking a nap. And then I did read The Pram on Wednesday, and I was gonna film immediately after, but then we started talking. So let's talk about The Pram by Joe Hill. So one thing before we even start talking about it is that you need to be okay with like miscarriages and talks of that stuff as well as cult stuff. So if you are not okay with miscarriages or cult stuff, go ahead and skip to this timeline or to the next chapter because I'm going to chapter this. Anyway, The Pram by Joe Hill starts off with this couple who is moving to a old town farmhouse thing because the wife had a bad miscarriage in their house. Now, what I really like about this story is that it goes over kind of like the male emotions when it comes to miscarriage. Like it goes over male depression and male feelings and like how, yes, we focus a lot when it comes to birthing on the mom and the woman or the, you know, uterus haver. But this one focuses on the guy's depression. They show up to this town. There's a cult there. It's kind of like, they phrase it in the book as Amish but different, and they planted a bunch of trees. And so when he goes to pick up groceries, our main guy, Willie, not sure if that's a dick joke, but Willie goes to pick up groceries. He ends up getting too much, so this the general store workers like, here is a moldy old pram. He starts imagining that there's a baby in this pram, and like as he takes it back and forth along this like trail from his house to the general store that this cult had planted trees along, he starts like hallucinating that there's a baby there. Now it goes even further and gets a little crazy, and I really did like the end. I wish, so one thing with this book, and I did like it, short story, one thing with the short story that I really liked is that I wish I had more of it. Like this, how Joe Hill described everything and how he went about everything and all the stuff that he was trying to talk about while in this 59-page story, it wasn't enough. Like, it was a nice little campfire story, abridged version, but I think this would have been a really good, like, 300-page novel horror story where we get more into how the miscarriage is affecting Willie, how it's affecting their marriage, how it's like, how moving has affected them, how his job, and like, because I just wanted more of him hallucinating this child, of him being like, I am depressed because we have this, but I can't show it because I have to be the big man and support my wife who went through it. And, you know, the idea that we always forget that men are also going through all of these hard emotions when it comes to kids and miscarriages as well. That being said, I really liked this one. I think I rated it like 4 stars. I wish there was more of it. Like, I want this to be a full novel that I would totally read. Okay, next one we read was Ankle Snatcher. Now, I think I read this one on Friday. Okay. Ankle Snatcher by Grady Hendrix. Now, I have some experience with Grady Hendrix. A Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires is still one of my favorite books. I did read How to Sell a Haunted House earlier this year. It was not that great, but being relatively new to horror, I still had a really fun time with it. I just wish that it had done more. Anyway, Ankle Snatcher. We follow this guy. Don't remember his name. I think it was said once. Now, his dad had a wife, obviously. So his mom and his dad, right? His mom died and like is missing, and his dad is in jail for it. But before his dad went to jail for it, he came to his son, was just like, the ankle snatcher got her. Do not step on the floor at night without the light on. So this dude has been freaked out ever since. Now, it starts the book as him on a date with this one person. They're in like a help call center, and she is like manic pixie dream girl, blacklight tattoos, half-shaved head. She looks gorgeous, you know. One thing that I had a problem with was how she was described, because we very much like, it was guy written, and like, I have a problem with guy written things. Like, I think it's just me because I don't like the word piss written, and I don't need to know that she's pissing on your ceramic toilet and that you can hear it. Okay. So it was very like guy written centric, like, you know. And then also she was like super sexualized, like she had nothing behind her because she, you know, immediately gets eaten by the ankle snatcher. One thing that I wish we had done, so we do a couple things with this story. We kind of talk about like how once you're in prison, no one cares what you think or what you say, and like you're a criminal, and like, you know, the guards, because the main character goes to prison because the chick that he was dating with, it was immediately reported missing, and they found evidence of it. Even though I really liked the scene where the ankle snatcher was eating her and that dread that he had. Like, I think that is peak Grady Hendrix right there. But after that, like, I think it read kind of like a paycheck for him. Anyway, it kind of wants to talk about, you know, the incarceration system, but it doesn't really do that well at it. One thing that I wish we had done, which would have been more scary in my opinion, is instead of our boy being immediately dragged to prison, is if he was able to go through with his plan of trying to kill the creature, because we have this idea later on that's presented in the prison that these monsters can be killed, and they have been working at killing them. And I think it would be scarier and more horror campfire ghost storytelling had our main guy went in with a plan and absolutely failed, because then we would have that and it's still out there creepiness, like it can't be killed, like it is there. But that's just kind of my thoughts on the Ankel Snatcher. It was only like 29 pages, so it really was like, you know, take to the campfire and tell to all of your friends. Spooky ghost stories, let's make s'mores. The next one, which I read last night when I couldn't sleep because I woke up in the middle of the night, was It Waits in the Woods by Josh Malerman. Now, this one follows a story of Brenna, I think her name is. Now, her younger sister, Amanda, got abducted or went missing in the woods. And there's this urban legend ghost story of the woods by their house where there is this bridge that's a white bridge with gold painting or yellow painting that's chipping, and it leads to nowhere, and it just shows up in the forest. And there's this creature, Opso, O-P-S-O, that lurks there and is kind of like the face stealer. Like, I was expecting face stealer from like Avatar: The Last Airbender the entire time, but like that's kind of the vibe that you're getting, because it's like mourning the loss of its face, so it's stealing other people's faces, and that's the urban legend of this town. Now, when Amanda goes missing, Brenna, our main character's younger sister, goes missing, it kind of entirely breaks her family apart. Like, mom and dad stop talking entirely, not entirely, but like they get real, like, you know, there's an entire study on like how missing kids and dying kids and other things really ruin a marriage, especially if they weren't like 100% good to start with. So we go through that a little bit. We mostly focused on Brenna, who was a filmmaker when her sister went missing. And apparently her parents slightly blamed Brenna for Amanda going missing. Now, I really liked that aspect because Brenna was the oldest one and she was taking her sister out and, you know, lost track of her sister and she was gone. Now, it's a couple years later. Brenna is 18 now. She has rented an apartment. She's left her parents' house and she knows that she knows something's wrong. So she's going back out to the forest where her sister disappeared and is going on her own to document her trying to find Amanda. And I absolutely loved this story. Like, this reminded me of the stories that I used to tell, because when I was growing up, we had like a back alley green belt that we would like tell, like the Witch's Cove is back there, when it was just like paintballers and stuff. Like, I told like this really scary, and it reminded me of this story that I used to tell to scare everyone that came to my house. Anyway, she goes and she like goes through the forest and is like documenting everything the entire way, trying to find the bridge and the creature and trying to figure out what happened to Amanda. Now, I'm not going to spoil this one as much as I did the other one because I really loved this one. It's a nice little hour-long read that I think if you love creepy, spooky horror, this is great for you. But like, she goes through trying to find this thing and then also making like tough decisions along the way for like her immediate goals. And I super loved it. I loved the ending and like how it just kind of left us, like, it left you wanting more, but also feeling really satisfied. Now, the next one I read was In Bloom by Paul Tremblay. Now, this one was interesting because this framing is interesting of it. So we are in this town, okay, and it has like this toxic gas from this not bioluminescent, but it's like this very vibrant green algae in this pond, and it has this toxic gas, and when it blooms, it like becomes really toxic. So anyway, there's this reporter who is trying to figure out more about it. Her parents used to live there, and there's this like reform going around where everyone has to upgrade their septic system to stop it leaking into the marshes and creating more of this toxic algae bloom grossness. And it's like pricing people out. So her parents have left this area and have gone, but she is still there and like experiencing it. And we get her kind of scientific description of everything in the front ground as she's going to meet this guy, Jimmy. Now, Jimmy has a history with this green algae toxic gas thing. Okay, so he went to a baseball game with his dad, and his dad went missing there. A boy drowned at the same time, and then a bunch of other players got like very injured with this like green algae swamp thing. But during this time, Jimmy like kind of got connected with everyone there, like brain connect, and Jimmy has been looking for that ever since. And his story is really interesting. Like, I think that this is a really good read. The first half is a little dense as we go through like the reporter's mind, but once we shift into Jimmy's story, it's I really liked Jimmy's story. And not just because I related to him being an 11-year-old kid whose fathers pressured them into doing a sport that they don't want to do. But I really liked In Bloom, and then I liked the ending as well when we switch back to the reporter. That is it. It is Monday. Tomorrow is Halloween, so I still have to read Best of Luck by Jason Matt and Big Bad by Chandler Baker. So I will touch base with you and catch you up when I've done those. All right, last check-in. We're at a kind of wide angle so I can get some last use out of my Halloween decorations. Creature collection, right? We had the last two going on. I read these Halloween Eve. We passed out. Like, my husband and I have been sick. We passed out at like 6 the moment I logged off of work, and we were asleep until like probably 10:30, 11. And then, so I just finished off my Halloween, very sadly, with my last two short stories. We have been recovering for the most part. It's now Friday. Anyway, Best of Luck by Jason Mott. I can't really say a whole lot without spoiling this one, but it starts off in medias res or whatever. Like, it starts off high tension with these two friends in the middle of the night at one of the friends' household with like their family sleeping upstairs, and the other friend has got like a gun trained on them. And he's basically telling this story about how like a farmer went off on vacation and like basically lost everything when he returned. And then and then he's accusing his friend of basically stealing all of his luck. Now, I liked the story. I think it was really good. I think I rated it like a 3.5 or so, 4. I think, so based off of the end, I understand why we are in the POV of which we are in. But I think the story would have had greater tension and like, hey, what's going on, if we were in the other character's POV. And that's really all I'm gonna say about that. But I think I liked it. It was really interesting, and I liked the storytelling of it. As for Big Bad, by Chandler Baker, I absolutely loved this one. It's a little too head hopping with the POVs. Like, we jump head who's narrating so much, and I think that's my only complaint about it. This is a story about a mom, told mostly through the eyes of the dad, mostly, but also through the eyes of the two other little girls, as this one night just goes terribly wrong after all of their preparations, because the mom is a werewolf, kind of. I would assume it's a werewolf. It's not stated directly, but there's a lot of wolf analogies in it and all of that, and it goes through like this unraveling of this terrible day, and I absolutely loved this one. Like, I am putting Chandler Baker on my list. I'm checking out whatever else she has written, and we are gonna see what is up with her. But yeah, so it's a really fun I enjoyed it. I really liked it. If I were to rank them in order, best is Big Bad. Right under that is It Waits in the Woods, and that's just because I didn't like the ending of It Waits in the Woods all that much, like as much as I liked the ending of Big Bad. And I think It Waits in the Woods, again, like could have been more trickier in the end. I don't know if I said that in my original thing. I don't know. That was a couple days ago. Anyway, right under It Waits in the Woods would be The Pram by Joe Hill. So number 3 would be The Pram by Joe Hill, because like I absolutely loved that story. I wish there were more. Like that's really it. Like I just felt that it was a good starting point to then further expand it into something else. After that, I'd probably do Best of Luck and then In Bloom. Those are probably tied kind of for like enjoyment level. And then sadly at the end is going to be Ankel Snatcher by Grady Hendrix, which I mean, it really did just feel like a cash grab to him or something. Like I didn't feel any heart in the Ankel Snatcher, which is why it's all the way down there. It didn't do anything fun. But yeah, that's the creature collection that was put on by Amazon. It looked like they had done something else similar on a different holiday last year. So I'm interested to see if they do more or if this is just like a Halloween thing. Like it'd be cool to get a bunch of Christmas short stories. I'm not a big Christmas person, but you know, Christmas or New Year's stories, or it'd be cool to get like Valentine's Day ones. So we'll see how that goes. I know that Kindle Unlimited has like a massive romance. I mean, most people do their Kindle Unlimited for romances. So I would really enjoy seeing if they do something like this for like Valentine's Day, and get some of their bigger players for that. So I'll keep a lookout on that. Anyway, that's been everything. I hope y'all had a better Halloween than I did. We'll probably leave him up for another week and then we'll have a small break. It's one of those things where it's just like, do I take him down now and wait a couple weeks before I put up Christmas? Because I am not a Christmas person. I don't put it up early. It'll go up on December. So do I keep him all of, see the problem is, he's in the way. Like when I open it up for the dogs, like I didn't make any room for the string because all of the other blinds in this house are like lift and stick, and this one is a string. Oh, anyway, that's been all. Did you read the creature feature? How did you rank them? Which ones were your favorite? And did any of my synopses make you want to go read them? Anyway, that's it. My name is Jessica. We are all in progress. Goodbye.